Welcome to Curious Goldfish, a podcast community where music and curiosity come together through interesting conversations with the music makers of our world. I'm your host, Jason English. You can find Curious Goldfish in all the major podcast and social media platforms. And of course, we have all of our content on our website, curiousgoldfish.com. Hey, Liz.
Hello.
It's an honor to talk to you.
Ditto. Thank you for having me.
No, I really appreciate it. You're so talented. Your music's incredible. I was excited to have you respond when I reached out to talk to me here at 30A Songwriters Festival. So congrats on being down here. Congrats on so many things. I guess, what are you looking forward to the most from this weekend?
Oh, I love getting to be around other artists. You know, we all tour so much. It's hard for all of our paths to align.
Yeah.
And it feels like this is a very special time for that. So
Yeah.
I always look forward to that.
You have time to go and just be a fan and watch?
Well, that's the thing. This year, I don't know if it doesn't always feel this way, but it feels like all the shows are happening at the same time. Like there's so many things I want to see, and then I'm playing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping to get to see. I'm gonna hop around tonight before and after my show. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Well,
then
good.
the ASCAP party at night, so we'll all get to hang out. It'll be good.
I have a few questions about just kind of some random different things that I just, again, curious about. This is a really random one. You're not going to be expecting this one. But I love watching TED Talks, right? And I'm doing research to talk with you, and I was like, wait, Liz has a TED Talk? And then I watch it, and it's mostly all music, right? So I was curious. They don't really do that much, right? It's not like a Tiny Desk concert, right, where they just have musical performances. And then the whole thing that was in Reno, I was like, what was your tie to Reno, and how did that all happen?
I have no tie to Reno. That was my first time there ever. But somebody who works for that branch of TED Talk knew my music and had the idea to have me come in and do half talk, half music. I think typically they have artists just play, but it was exciting to have the chance to kind of speak about the power that music has had in my life, and then how I hope that it affects other people. And so it was really fun.
Yeah.
But I haven't been back to Reno since, so I guess I don't really have a tie.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out, but that's cool. Yeah, no worries.
It was a really cool experience. It was terrifying. I mean, absolutely terrifying. I was really pregnant. I was trying to remember every line of my speech. And, because when I get up on stage every night, I'm just, my banter is just off the cuff, and that's what makes it so fun.
Yeah.
But this was like, you got to know what you're going to say. Yeah. And they have to approve it.
Right. It's different than just doing a gig somewhere.
Yeah, it's completely different. Yeah.
So you mentioned when you did that, you were pregnant. I guess, how has motherhood affected you and changed you, and what's the best part about it?
It feels like it's changed me in every way. At first, I feel like I felt further and further from who I thought I was. And in some way, it's been a great impetus to try to fight for who I am and a new identity of it, basically, as a mom and also a creative. Like, you don't want to be selfish. You want to give everything you have to your kid. But also, I live by that Airplane saying where they're like, put your mask on first, then you can put it on your kid, because you have to be well in order to be a good parent. So music is what I do to stay well, I guess. And the best part of it is I just have the coolest daughter. Like, she is a blast. She's 2.5, so she's saying things that just every day she's cracking up my husband and I, and we are obsessed with her. We're at the end of the night, sometimes we're exhausted. I'm like, God, I can't wait till she goes to bed. And then the second she's asleep, okay, let's all watch all the videos that we took of her today. Right. We just can't get enough. So.
No. I have 3 children. They're in their 20s, so a little bit earlier. But I think it may be kind of a blessing and a curse that it's so easy now to snap the pictures in the video. Because I think when they were little, I had the giant camera and then a video camera. Yeah. And so, the stuff I have, I obviously is great. But it's, I couldn't imagine I bet you're obsessed, because it's you want to take so many videos and pictures.
It is kind of, sometimes we have to stop ourselves, but it is a beautiful thing because our parents live in the Northeast. So they get to see our daughter in a way that would have not been possible before without the technology we have now. So,
yeah. Well, I want to talk about the new album because I think it's related to the your transition into motherhood and the changes, right? But I guess kind of a funny story. So I saw you earlier today riding bike. Yeah. I was like, I think that's Liz. And so I said, hey, Liz, and waved. And as soon as I said it, I kind of regretted it because I didn't want to distract you. I could, in my head,
Yeah,
I'm like, oh
next
my
to the
gosh,
stream.
please don't crash or anything. Have you been down to the festival much, like through the years?
Oh yeah. I lost count. This might be my 7th or 8th time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's been one of my favorite things that I look forward to it every
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
Do you come back because of that networking bit?
And then it feels like vacation, and
Yeah.
a lot of my friends now come down and they get a house and we all hang out together. So it's just a special time.
Yeah.
And I get to pretend that I'm working.
Well, so there is a new album to promote, and you just have a single out. Is it yesterday?
Yeah, I had I think my 4th single come out yesterday.
That's
Or
exciting.
2 days ago, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's called So Good.
So good.
Is that right?
Mhm.
And the album is going to be called New Life.
Correct.
Okay. Maybe an obvious question, or probably an obvious answer, but is that indicative of your new life as a mother?
Absolutely. And one of the songs is called New Life, and it just made so much sense.
Yeah.
The song New Life is about, one of the lines is, I brought new life to a dying planet. And that's something that has played a huge part in my mentality as a mom, of that overwhelm and anxiety and heartbreaking, just, oh my God, what kind of world did I just bring a child into? And also the other side of that, the beautiful parts, and just being so grateful for every moment. So there's a lot of that in the record.
Okay. What are you most concerned about for her in terms of the world?
I don't even know where to begin, but in the early days, and especially now, just right now, safety. I just want my kid to go to a school and know that she's going to be safe and healthy, and that people are kind to each other. Just one of my songs, More Than Ever, is a song that I wrote right after she was born, and I just felt I had really intense postpartum depression and anxiety, which I was not expecting, because I think of myself as a very positive person, and it turns out you don't get to choose if you have postpartum depression. But I just sat on my porch and cried, and anyway, that one of the verses is, every day I look out this window and I see trouble everywhere. I wish I could trade fear for faith, and love would conquer over hate, and we could leave this world a little better. And I would say that encompasses how I feel about what I want for the world and for my child.
Yeah. All right. Well said.
Thank you.
So the songwriting thing for you, you're incredible.
Thank you.
No, and I'm a podcast guy that, does this as a passion project. So for what it's worth, I think you're incredible. Did you train yourself, and is it kind of like, okay, there's a flow and there's a rhythm that I can, or was it always just kind of natural how the words kind of flow and the rhyming and the thoughtfulness behind it? Because you are so thoughtful, but it's not too much to,
Thank you.
To take in.
Thank you. That means
What
a
do you
lot.
what do you attribute that to?
I would say that singing has always come very naturally to me. As a young kid, I grew up in a really musical household, and my parents would often help me grow as a singer. Not that they're singers, but they have good ears. And so I always joke that my dad was like my own personal Simon Cowell, and I'd sing karaoke to him, and he'd be like, "Oh, try using a different tone here, or you're pitchy here." And so that's how I grew as a singer. But in that, I started writing my own songs, and I fell in love with Joni Mitchell so hard, and I was like, I want to write songs. That's when I realized this is something that I want to study. I want to dive deep into this. So at the time, the only school that offered songwriting as a major was Berklee College of Music in Boston. So that's where I went. I did a summer camp, fell in love. I just love geeking out on songs, and so it was a really great challenge for me, and I ate up everything they were willing to teach and really valued the input. It was an amazing time. And that a lot of the tools that I got there are, to me now, they're just subconscious. They're just part of my writing process.
So that's interesting so you're not attributing any of the songwriting to your natural thing.
Okay.
There's got to be something there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think that, no, for sure. It's not just you get the tools and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
I think that I've always been very in tune with my emotions, and also slightly empathic. And so I think that makes for, my big thing is, what is the point of music if it's not connecting with people? So how can I connect? And if there are parts of a song that I'm not feeling, like I feel like I'm losing something emotionally, then I'm like, ditch it. Let's see how we can just keep that connection. And I want people to hear their own stories in songs, so that's always a goal. But if you overthink it, then you lose it all. So it's this weird, delicate balance.
You're known for a lot of different themes and stuff, but you know, there's a lot of heartbreak through the years, right? I guess, do you see yourself writing heartbreak songs 3 years from now, 6 years from now, even though you're happily married and, you know, life
Great
is good?
question.
And, you know, like, what do you think about that?
I basically built a career on writing songs about my failed love life. When I met my husband and I was like, oh shit, I'm happy. Well, sorry, are we allowed to curse on here? Okay.
You're good.
I was like, what am I going to write about? And then my daughter came into the world and I was like, oh my gosh, I needed that to help me zoom out and get it out of my own head about, you know, who I'm dating and broke up. Who cares? You know, now it's like, what is the meaning of life? What is the point of all this? And so a lot of my record is very much zoomed out in a way. I have one breakup song that I put on the record. It wasn't written from personal experience, but I can tap into the old breakup stuff anytime.
Well, there's probably a few guys out there that are breathing a sigh of relief, like, finally, right?
Probably.
Thank gosh she found somebody and has a child.
That's true.
And I think you've said, you know, despite your fears, there's more to write about than ever. And that's what
Absolutely.
That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, it seems like a bottomless well. And, you know, even though I have a new record about to come out, I still have a lot of songs that are bubbling up in me. So I'm feeling very inspired lately.
In terms of like the new stuff, what songs are you most excited about and are sort of the best representation of this new phase?
Well, like any record that I put out, actually maybe more than most of them, but this one is eclectic in sounds. Like there's one that's a total pop song. There's one that's kind of straight up Americana. And then like the Start Again has this like almost Spanish feel. Start Again, I love singing every night. Like it's just such a fun song to sing. And Can't Get Enough, which is the last track on the record, is one of my favorites to sing too. It's a song I wrote for my daughter. And it seems to really connect with people, and that makes me really excited to get to share that every night.
Okay.
And it's basically a song about, I wrote it to her to remind her about the things that are worth living for, recognizing, again, going back to this, she's going to grow up in a difficult time. That's how I foresee it. Like there's just so many challenges that we're facing as, you know, a country, as a world, as a planet. And so I wrote this to her just to remind her of the things that are worth celebrating every day. So I hope that serves as a good reminder to anyone who hears it.
So the single that you released a few months ago, Wake You Up.
Yes.
That's like very pop.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's the most pop I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
What inspired that?
Yeah, so I wrote that with two guys in Nashville. We had a co-write scheduled. This was like 6 years ago. And I have a lot of these songs that I write just kind of get like lost in a pile of songs that I've written over the years. And I decide which ones to take to stage that feel good at that time. And anyway, that one just kind of got lost. And thankfully, I have an amazing Patreon community where every month I share an unreleased song. And I shared that one, and people were freaking out, like, why is this not out, you know? And it just kept coming up in my life. My friends liked it, and I was like, you know, I'm just going to release it and not worry about falling under a specific genre. Like, I don't care. I'm just going to release music I love. So that was one of them. I just kind of went hard in one direction that I've never let myself go. But I listen to that kind of music, so why wouldn't I let myself?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was fun.
By the way, yesterday I was wearing my Taylor Swift Eras sweatshirt that I got
Nice.
at the show.
We have that one too. Yeah.
So that was a great show.
Oh my gosh, the best.
Of all the stuff that you have to worry about for your child, the great thing is I think there's going to be more and more people like Taylor Swift that are going to be like tremendous role models for her.
Yes,
right?
for sure.
Yeah. So that's hopeful.
Yes, that's true.
I think.
Got it. Thank you, Taylor Swift, for all the hope.
I mean, you know, she's incredible. Speaking of songwriters, she doesn't get enough credit for that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I probably should know this, but the new album, did you do a Kickstarter for that like you did previously?
I didn't. No, but I did crowdfund it in a way. It was privately sponsored by, I think it was 9 donors, or no, 8 people. Okay. Some of them decided to sponsor multiple songs, but yeah, it was just
that's cool.
Very individual. It was really cool, and a lot of them were part of my Kickstarter.
Yeah. Well, I think so. You've got this whole community called the Lizards.
Yes.
Right. What's interesting is in this day and age when the numbers don't make any sense, the likes, the followers, and everything, that I think it's, you have to build that community. And I think the Patreon bit is awesome that you do that. And Kickstarter, I'm sure it surprised you just because it was the numbers were so big for your previous album. But
Yeah.
that's got to give you some confidence that if you're authentic and genuine, no matter what the algorithms and the streamings and all that sort of tell us and tell you, you've got that, right? That's got to give you a lot of confidence.
Oh, the feeling that I had when 1,302 people decided to be part of that Kickstarter. I mean, I remember where I was. I'll never forget that moment of just feeling like I was about to, fall into the abyss with that record that wasn't going to come out, didn't have the money to buy it back from the label. And then it was like, overnight, you can do it just because of those people. And I've been so lucky that I've toured for years and years and created these connections with these incredible people who love music. And we've connected about one thing or another because of a song or something. And that they've been willing to be part of my story in that way. It's been really cool. And now we're friends. So many of us are friends. It's really cool.
That's neat. Well, it reminds me, I think their name, the fans' names are the Hazelnuts, the Sister Hazel people. Anyway, I talked to Drew Copeland, who's one of the founders, about this topic a few months ago, and he's like, if it wasn't for that, which they built kind of pre-social media, he basically was like, we'd be toast, because they're getting older, and none of this new stuff sort of is relevant for them, although they're trying. But they've got that core base that will go above and beyond.
Yeah,
they've got a name like your name.
Hazelnuts is good.
Yeah,
I like that.
Lizards is good too. But yeah, I think it's cool, and I love and this festival reminds me of that.
Yeah,
because people are here that respect music.
Yes.
That are willing to listen and not just kind of have it as background noise.
100%. I feel like this is a festival that celebrates songs, and that's really cool.
Yeah. So where do you think you are as an artist today, and where do you want to be?
Gosh, I just want to keep doing. I want to be able to keep doing what I'm doing and have it be sustainable. Right now, I'm really, really grateful that I have a great tour ahead, and that I was able to make a record on my own terms. So yeah, I just want more of this. I don't, I remember when I was in college, I had friends that were trying to write hit songs, and they were like, so you want to do just play listening rooms, for the rest of your life? I'm like, I love this. And there are days when the grind is so hard and it's difficult to balance it all, but I'm very grateful to be doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this podcast I'm doing, it's based on my love of Ted Lasso, kind of randomly. So we're not going to really talk about that too much, but one of the themes of Ted Lasso is this notion of curiosity, So I guess at this point, as a mother now, a wife, successful musician, what are you most curious about?
That's a great question. Wow. I mean, something that my husband and I talk about right now is, it's kind of scary to really sink into, but the future of AI and how it's going to affect what we do as creatives, as just humans in general. It's something we talk about a lot. My husband is a tech nerd. He was with Apple for 10 years. And so he's opened my mind to how it could be beautiful and dangerous. And so that's something that I'm very curious right now, what our world will look like in 10, 20 years, Could be a very different situation.
Yeah. It's moving so fast too, right? Yeah. And I think I'm in technology full time, and so this is my passion project, but I do think as long as people don't how should I say this? I guess if as a musician, it's kind of like my podcast. If I can use it to sort of help me prepare and help me do some of the busy work faster, where it doesn't have to be my original thought all the time, or, creating a schedule. It's like, if someone could do that for me, right. If I can tell some system to kind of create it, and then I can modify it as needed, but someone needs to do that for me. I can't hire an assistant. Right. So, okay, cool. Like ChatGPT or whatever, you go do that. Right. And I think artists, if they're open enough to embrace things like that, especially with not your core competency, which is probably like social media management and, you know, some of those administrative tasks, I think it could probably help. Right. But I think, you know, it'll be interesting to see like creating the graphics and the videos and the songs. And I mean, you know, that's a little bit, you know, tenuous.
Someone told me the other day who works in the music industry and said, you know, there's these programs where AI can create a song. And he said,
No.
Not only is it good, it's scary good.
Yeah.
Like you can just say, this is what I want to hear. And it's done, you know,
Yeah.
and that's, I hope we can preserve true artistry.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know. It's just going to be, it's interesting to witness.
Yeah. Well, speaking of true artists, Liz Longley, I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure. And
I'm sorry that I didn't bring my guitar.
That's fine.
I can airplay guitar.
We can make it up to me at some point down the road, you know, like come through Atlanta or something. I don't know. But,
I was just in Atlanta too.
Were you playing Eddie's?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Grocery on Home. Have you been there?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's a great concert. I would say it's a house concert, but it's an old grocery store that they turned into a little concert spot, and they never announce who's playing. So every time you go there, it's a complete surprise. So it's
what's it called?
Grocery on Home.
On Home.
Run by Matt Arnett. Yeah, it's a good time.
All right, I'll have to check that
Yeah,
out. Well,
absolutely.
So one more plug, and then we'll say goodbye. Would you do backyard shows?
Yeah, have
Okay.
done, will do. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Absolutely.
We should talk about that. We've got a really cool one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So with me and my friends. So we'll
That's
check this out.
awesome. Yeah, I love doing house concerts. Again, it's like that thing of feeling like you're connecting to people when you're making music. Like it doesn't matter if there are 100 or 1,000 people there. To me, it's like.
That's amazing.
Although I did play a house concert for 2 people once, and that was a little bit awkward.
Well, it would be. It's like me and you here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So anyway. All right. Well, it's a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for your time.
Great to meet you too. Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
Liz.
Jason.